Hey everybody, Pat Blocker here with the Peaceful Pause Method. Thanks for joining me. Today we're going to be talking about dogs as our personal joy guides and learning to listen to our four-legged teachers on the subject. Before we do that, I'd really appreciate it if you would support this channel by hitting like and subscribe, and that way we can stay in touch. And if you'd like to leave a comment, that would be awesome. So let's dig into what is a personal joy guide. I got onto this idea because there's always something kind of magical that happens when I'm hunched over my computer and I'm down some deep technological rabbit hole, or I'm scrolling through endless emails and so on. Or really, when I'm in a meeting and my dogs come in and my dog Helen Wheels thinks that every meeting should really be an email. But inevitably, when I'm down those rabbit holes and I'm hunched over my computer, I suddenly feel a wet nose on my elbow, and they have arrived to tell me the daily message that basically it's time to remember what really matters. I'm actually convinced that my dogs think of my computer or my notebook as the boring rectangle, because it's that object that steals my attention and prevents me from focusing on what's truly important, what they think is truly important, like belly rubs and spontaneous games of fetch and so on. So they don't check their watches, even though they're watchdogs. They don't consult a productivity app. They simply know. And this is a kind of ancient wisdom that we as humans have forgotten about. It's like when the energy in the room has become heavy, when joy has been absent too long, and so they come in and they say, "It's time to party, Mom." So I used to think of these interruptions as exactly that, interruptions. But now I really understand that it's something much more profound. These gentle interventions are from my personal joy guides. And that's because dogs exist mostly in a state of presence, and this is something that most of us can only achieve really during after years of meditation and so on. But they're living in the right now, and they're really inviting us to join them. They're not worried about tomorrow's presentation, or they're not worried about what they should have said in that awkward conversation. They're living in the present, and they are very in tune to the energy that surrounds them. So when my dogs burst into spontaneous play, like they might be wrestling over a toy or chasing each other around, they get the zoomies outside in the yard, and they're just really saying, let the games begin. They're not just entertaining themselves, but they're demonstrating something really essential, and that is that joy doesn't need a reason. It doesn't need a schedule. It simply is joy, and it's always available if we're just willing to receive it. If you watch dogs closely, you'll really notice that they're constantly reading the energy around them, and that they do this in ways that really escape our human understanding. Like they sense when a storm is coming long before the weather app lets us know. They know when we're sad. Sometimes mostly most of the time before we even really notice it. They can feel the shift in the room's energy and the atmosphere. With I mean, they can sense this like a barometer, you know. If you watch your dogs, it's kind of like, oh, I don't need a gadget, a barometer. I can just watch my dogs. But it's not just cute behavior. It's like I like to think of it as a spiritual intelligence in action, um, because dogs are naturally attuned to these subtle energies that flow through all living things, really, and they haven't learned to override their instincts with uh, the mental chatter that we humans have. And so when they suddenly want to go outside and they insist on extra cuddles, or when they refuse to leave your side when you're feeling sad, or having a difficult day, they're just responding to the information that we've basically trained ourselves to ignore. There's really a profound wisdom in the way that dogs approach joy and silliness. They're not embarrassed by their enthusiasm. They don't worry about looking foolish when they're excited about a walk, or they lose their minds over a tennis ball being thrown. So they really understand something that we've forgotten, that unbridled enthusiasm, so to speak, is really you might even think of it as a form of prayer, but it's really just a celebration of being alive. When I watch my dogs play together, and I'm just seeing masters at work, and they're masters of living fully in the present. They're masters of finding joy in the simplest things, and they also are masters of loving without condition or reservation. And they chase each other not because they have somewhere to go, but just because it's pure delight for them. And they roll in the grass, just not because it's practical, it's because it feels good. So I feel like we, the human end of the leash here, we need to learn to listen to these dogs. The most profound teaching that they offer us isn't in what they do, but how they invite us to remember who we are beneath all of our complex humanity. So they're constantly offering us just little mini lessons in being present, in playing, and in unconditional love. It's not really a question about whether they're teaching us, because they always are. The real question is whether we're listening. So when your dog interrupts you, or they interrupt your walk and they're pausing, let's let them show us that we can stop and smell the roses or whatever. But next time they interrupt you when in your busy day, just before you shoo them away, stop to think just about what they're maybe sensing that you're not. When they want to play and it's an inconvenient time for you, um, consider that maybe they know something about the energy that your schedule doesn't know about, the energy of the day. So when they do something seemingly silly that makes you laugh, we want to recognize that really as a gift, and it's a reminder not to take ourselves too seriously. Uh, Dogs aren't just pets. I I look at them more like a sacred partnership. Um, they're spiritual partners, really, in the truest sense. They've agreed to share their lives with us for this brief time on Earth, and in return, they offer us daily master classes, really, in joy and presence and unconditional love. They show us how to greet each day with enthusiasm and how to find wonder in ordinary moments, and how to really love freely and forgive instantly. So, in this achievement oriented world, which we humans uh, habitate, the the world of dogs is to remind us that it's that being is just as important as doing. In fact, it's probably more important. It is. I know it is to them. So but they teach us that sometimes the most productive thing that we can do is to lay in a patch of sunshine, or play just to be playing. Uh, and also, they can teach us that love is not something that needs to be earned, it needs to simply be given and received. So, again, the next time your dog interrupts you uh, on your busy schedule, then just try to take a moment and not see it not as an interruption, but uh, as a gentle reminder from our personal joy guides. They're not trying to make you less productive, they're trying to make you more alive. And in a world that often feels so heavy and worrisome and complex, I'm thinking, the lesson that we need the most. Dogs are always teaching us, and we just need to know how to listen and to learn from them. So that's a personal joy guide. And if you would like to dive deeper into this subject or any thing that's going on with your dog behaviorally, you can reach me. I'm here to help. You can find me at www.petblocker.com. You can email me at info@petblocker.com. And yeah, I'm here to help you to understand your dogs more fully. And I always like to say that it's not about fixing behaviors, but it's about understanding them so that we can implement change. That's it for today. Thanks for joining me. Give your dog some extra pets for me, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.